Hello and welcome to day 11 of Virtually 30. Today we are looking at SoundStage. This is a project built in Unity, I think from someone at Google. It's on their GitHub, although it's no longer being developed. You can download the built project and just go to town right away. You can also open it up in Unity and edit it, so add in your own samples. Actually, if I look at this on the desktop, you have some desktop options to browse your samples and configure things, but we're just gonna keep it kind of simple. It's a nice open area for creativity, which I really like. And where to start? There is so much that you can do in this thing. It really blows me away that it's just free. So let's start with what's in front of us. These drum pads are resizable and configurable. If you look at the side, I think most of these things work by having cartridges that you can take out and insert to get different sounds on. And there's no shortage of drumsticks. So with some careful spatial configuration, you can get multiple sounds in one very easily with that. I am not a very good musician, but I love messing around with this stuff in VR. So let's look at the sequencer here. I have 8 beats. So that's pretty impressive just out the door, but if you want to add more tracks, well, it's as simple as resizing a table in Microsoft Word, except it actually works. Let's see, looper, air horn, sequencer, ADSR, MIDI-in, noise, filter, camera, microphone, reverb, tapes. Tapes contain all of the options for you to choose from for your sample sounds. All right. So I've got a kick, a hi-hat closed, and a snare. I'm mixing 808 and 909s. Let's get some... Oh. All right. Let's see. The glare on this is a little invasive. I mean, this looks very bright with the highlight, so I'm not sure if there's a decent way to kind of tone that down so you can see what you're doing. Just changing the reflection angle would be enough for that. But yeah, we'll take out the 909 and do pure 808. And the 2 and the 4. Oh yeah, I'm on an uneven number. Yeah, it should loop better. So we have a close, let's get an open in there too. Let's pull out a drum. So you can take any of the tapes from here and just put them in the slot, and now you have your instrument. Let's get that out of here. Make a few clones of this thing. I'll move my samples over here a bit. These are all air horns, so let's get something a little bit. Let's get a hi-hat closed. And a kick. And like I said, there's no shortage on drumsticks. This is definitely a game that I would recommend putting the wrist straps on for safety, especially if you get into it. I haven't thrown a controller yet, but it's a first time for everything. So I'm just gonna do that now, which I should have done earlier. So there's no tactile feedback. I mean, there's a vibration in the controller, so there's haptic feedback. Nothing to stop you from simply going all the way through, right? So you just kind of, if you've played with air drumsticks before, the ones that make a noise when you shake them loud enough, they plug straight into headphones. They're very weird, but it works similar to that, except you can sort of reprogram these for whatever you want. I did see a video of someone covering a song using all of the instruments and tools available in here. And from memory, it was a huge pain in the ass to get it to work right. So there's probably some gaps to close before you could use this for just anything, but it's still, it's insanely fun to just come in and make sounds like this. Put those back, and I'm not going to get rid of the drums, but I'm going to move them over here for now. I think if you got extremely good with your sense of motion, you could probably play something really neat just by how far you go down into the drum stack, but that is not me. If I bring up the examples, let's show the it's a little better. So you have control inputs for volume and frequency. This is exciting because you're not going to screw up real hardware by messing with things and just seeing what you can plug into other things. To me, that's a huge win. Let's look at the basic sequencer. So your sequencer works in a couple of ways. I'm on record, right? I think I'm on record, yeah. So if I hit a note, it will play. Or I can just play over what's there. You have a pretty wide track list to play from. So you can play these on the synthesizer keys, or you can just kind of paint the notes where you want them to be. And I don't know about changing the size of it, but also, and most of these have a little...
Keyboard is a monophonic synthesizer. That means it can only take one key at a time. You have an ADSR curve over here, so you can change the quality of the sound. You have an octave button, so you can go from high.
So every device in here, I think, has a little tooltip that will give you some info about it. Let's bring up the full drum kit. Holy cow. I can't remember if there's a way to actually teleport or move around in here, though. That would be really handy because you kind of are stuck with whatever you can physically reach. This is a nice setup, though. Nice little array of samples that you can switch in and out. Let's see what this does.
This instrument takes in samples in the form of tapes. We're going to grab one and put it in. The tape has been loaded. You can see the waveform here. I can press play to start it. I can pause it, continue to press play. It's on loop, so it'll loop back around, or I can switch it to one shot, so it'll end at the end. I'm going to switch it back to loop. If I want to restart, I can hit the back button here, in either way, or I can just scrub around it. So I can grab it, or I can press pause and scrub around like this. One more thing, you have control over the heads and tails of your clip. So you can move, use bars on either side, control the in and out points. When it is playing, I can control the playback speed. I can control...
And it's very cool. So that's a nice way to kind of clip the sound you're getting out of the instrument. And what else do we have here? It would be incredible to see different sounds on the drum head based on where you hit it. So you could get different tones if you're hitting in the center or if you're on more of the side. That would be a fun extension to do with the source code. Just little doots. So those feed pulse for those goes right into the synthesizer.
The oscillator
or the oscillator, sorry.
You can actually see the wave right here. You can control the shape of it, going from side to square to sawtooth, and you can control the frequency as well as the amplitude. Right now, it's in low frequency mode. That means you can't hear it. It's just being used as a control signal. If you actually want to hear it, I'm going to turn it down so it doesn't hurt your ears. I'm going to switch it to high frequency, where the wave is going so fast it can actually be heard. And this is how all sound waves work. And when you're hearing it, the frequency actually ties to the pitch, right? So when you turn it down, it's a low.
Very nice. Alright, so for the filter, we have a noise machine here. Turn that way down. This is a speaker, but I don't think you actually need them. Well, I guess you do for this.
The speaker is primarily for aesthetic purposes. Most of the instruments already have speakers built into them. However, you can still add speakers to make things look cooler, and the speaker's size actually amplifies the instrument. So say if I take a sample player and put it in here to play the sample,
nice.
The sample will actually get louder as I make the speaker.
Yeah, so if I don't have the output set up here, then it just plays from there. But this gives you more precise control. This is the
The
filter.
filter takes in an incoming signal and removes some of the frequency information. Right now it's grabbing just the middle part of the frequency information. If I shut that off using the bar at the top, there's now nothing that's getting through. I could let in just the lower information by pressing this lower bar, or just the higher information by turning on this bar, or just all of the information, or just the upper and lower without the middle. I can control these bands by grabbing the large part of the quad and moving it around.
That is pretty cool. Full noise, just the low and the high, just the low. I like it. It's just straight up noise
This
generator.
module generates a random signal, which you control the speed of using this dial. When the dial is lower, it serves as a control signal.
Neat. Maracas! Gots to try maracas, right? Yeah, that's the kind of wobble I like. It's more aluminum sheet.
The splitter allows me to take one signal and push it out multiple outputs. I can
So
also
the
make an
maraca
emerger
controls
by
both
flipping the
frequency
switch.
and output, right? So the faster I shake it, the louder it is too. If I take that off, it's always the same volume. If I take that off, it's always the same frequency. So that is super nice. And plain old
It
maraca.
generates a sound when you pick it up. But it can also be used as a control signal using this port right here.
Yeah, that is super cool. Oh man, the mixer is... This looks involved. Let's start here.
The mixing console allows you to mix in multiple inputs or crossfade between them. It defaults with 4, but you can just grab this white handle and drag up to 32 separate ones. They'll
Cool.
be mixed down and come out of this speaker port. If you don't like the height, you can grab it by the white handle here and shorten it or extend it. To use the
Have a
mixer,
bass loop.
grab something that generates sounds such as this noise generator and plug it in.
So this looks like a interpolation between the synth pulse loop here and the bass loop. I'm getting just bass here, getting just the synth. And I get something between them. Pretty easy to do. Turn that noise down. Nope, that turns it up, of course. What do we got here? And get some ambient space music before the ship explodes. So the filter is super powerful. I really like that. Let's check out the good old CUUUBE. I mean, this one is obvious, right? We know what it does. It's a cube. It's kind of theremin-like.
Control cube is a 3D control zone. Just reach into it, hold down the trigger to move around in all 3 axes. There is a default sound, and you can grab the line out of it from here, or you can mute it by pressing the mute button here. You can still use the control zone then, using its 3 jackouts here. So I can take an oscillator, for instance, and take the X input and the Y input, and now control it with this control cube.
Very neat. Put that down. And I don't have a camera set up. You have a microphone. I am on the microphone. Oh. The camera is in VR. So there's my floating headset. Hello. Very neat. Test. You can hear yourself well enough. Test. Yeah. Volume. Multiple cameras. I feel fancy. I think that's it for the... Yes, I already did the sequencer and the synths. Yeah! Let's go over the sampler again.
This instrument takes in samples in the form of tapes. We're going to grab one and put it in. The tape has been loaded. You can see the waveform here. I can press play to start it. I can pause it, continue to press play. It's on loop, so it'll loop back around, or I can switch it to one shot, so it'll end at the end. I'm going to switch it back to loop. If I want to restart, I can hit the back button here, in either way, or I can just scrub around it. So I can grab it, or I can press pause and scrub around like this. One more thing, you have control over the heads and tails of your clip. So you can use bars on either side, control the in and out points. When it's playing, I can control.
It's pretty good. Speed and volume can be controlled by something else. So, all right, let's try a few things now that we've kind of seen the basics. We'll do a new one. I don't think I saved anything before. I did save something from back in April. I went on a huge 808 kick, it looks like. Oh, yeah. Gotta have that horn stab on the 16. Microphone, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. We have the technology. We know how to use it. So I have maracas hooked up to the volume and frequency on this oscillator. The right maraca controls volume and the left controls frequency. So if I just move volume, nothing really happens. If I just move frequency, not much. You have to move them both to get that. So you've decoupled the controls. Let's see if I can get some cool sound effects. have a tape. So now I have a tape that I can use to great annoyance. The possibilities for annoying sounds are totally endless in this, and I think that's why I'm going to keep coming back to SoundStage. I'm going to stop recording now, but I'll probably screw around in here for a while longer. Thanks for watching.